All right. Back-to-back nights, back-to-back videos.
How interesting things that came into play today.
Definitely. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I told everybody, first off, that Ben would be back. But I told everybody what would have to happen.
He would have to restructure this deal.
Okay. So, for those that think that Roethlisberger was going to turn 39 and make $41 million, with part of it being deferred signing bonuses from 2 to 3 years ago when he restructured, and his current base salary plus a roster bonus, right? So the Rooneys came out. They said, we want Ben back. Ben wants to be back. But the only way it's going to happen is if Ben takes a pay cut here. Okay. We all know that. If you know the sport of football and you know Roethlisberger's contract and you know Roethlisberger's past of restructuring deals to give more cap money to re-sign guys that they need, he's going to do it. So, with all that being said, he pretty much came out and said he doesn't care about his pay. This is one last ride. So Ben's already telling the world, not just Steeler fans, not just Steeler haters, he's telling everybody, this is it.
And nothing
that he doesn't plan on playing after this year.
Another thing he put in there is that he wants Juju part of the season.
Juju's going to be part of the plan.
Exactly it. That's the whole reason why.
Because if they do this and he takes the pay cut, and in the hypothetical here, you can make it a 4-year extension, right? So you make it a 4-year extension. So you take the 2021 $19 million salary that he's going to get, turn that into a signing bonus.
Okay.
Right. So you do that. Then you spread it over the course of the next 4 years. So, in other words, you are extending him. He will get his money, but it's deferred.
Yeah,
so all that owed money, whether he plays after this year, which I don't think he will, I think he's going to hang it up. He's still going to get all that money over the course of what that contract is.
But he's only making how much this season?
If they do all that, he will make a big whopping $1 million.
Oh, Cam Newton money. Gotcha.
Yep. Okay, so for all of you all you Steeler fans that want Ben to retire, it ain't happening, because the one last ride is coming, and I'm telling you, it comes with the Super Bowl. Number 7 for number 7. It's going to happen. And not only that, he has been in talks with trying to persuade Pouncey to not retire. Because the game plan is for them to retire together. And if Pouncey does come back,
Ben will win that Super Bowl.
You don't think this team improves right there? And don't get me wrong, Pouncey's older and Ben's older, and I get all that. But I have more faith in Pouncey protecting Roethlisberger than I do this J.C. Hausenizer kid. Let's put it this way. A bag of sand could stop a 300-pound linebacker from coming at Ben better than that kid can. Let's call it what it is. But then, on the flip side of everything, what I just read before we popped on here, is they're gonna let Connor test the free agent market. So that shows me that whatever money they get that they can recoup from Ben.
Yep.
And possibly go to Hayward and say, hey, we got to restructure your deal as well. All that money tells me that they're going to try to get a running back in free agency. Mark Ingram. Just saying. Come to the Bird, kid. Come to the Bird, kid. You'll be loved there, unlike in Baltimore where they didn't like you after you stopped
running on. JJ.
And, well, brings me to that, because for all you other haters that said T.J. Watt is not going to be Defensive Player of the Year, the 101 awards came out, and guess who was the Defensive Player of the Year award finalist? Oh, wait, hold on. Winner, that is, actually. Oh, yeah. He doesn't play in Houston. And he's going to be the better of the 2 Watt brothers. And there's a hero shop around here that starts with his first name. Oh, T.J. Watt. That's right. Yeah, shit. Fuck.
I'm going to say, what the hell is his name?
Yeah, so all of you that wanted Aaron Donald to win it,
with his
better luck
whatever.
next year. All right. And speaking of that, I know we weren't going to talk more about the Watson thing, but he came out today and formally requested the trade. Like, we didn't know that was going to happen. I don't know why you have to formally do it. But because he has a no trade clause by virtue of the contract, and this is what Ian Rappaport tweeted out a little while ago, he has to approve the trade one, and he
Exactly.
controls where he's going to go.
Exactly. That's
So-
the same way Eli has
So,
his
so
contract.
now, since I'm a Steeler fan and you being a Giant fan,
Yes.
both our teams were in these proposals. We're not gonna make these asinine trades that ESPN put out there. Okay, so
What else are you talking about?
all right. So we'll talk about the Giants one first. So the Giants would give up this year's 11th first round pick. They give up next year's first round pick
Nope.
and 2023's,
Nope.
and ship Daniel Jones over. Now this is
Nope.
what you get in return. Obviously, you get an already established, proven quarterback in Watson, but you only get a 2023 fourth round draft pick is what you guys get out of it. I'm sorry. If
No.
I was a Giants fan,
Sorry,
I'm not
no.
doing it. I ride it out with
Number
Daniel
one,
Jones.
there's no point because now Wasp will have no weapons. And the whole reason why the Texans wanted the first round, they don't even have a first, second round pick this year.
Well,
Thanks to Bill O'Brien.
that's what happens when you hire an inept coach to do a GM's job, and you're inept in that
Stupid.
department too. So now we go to the Steelers side of it, and this one, for the life of me, if I was driving at the time and read this, I probably would have swerved off the road into a friggin' brick wall, which hopefully then I would have been engulfed in flames for ever reading this. And if this happened,
It's not going.
God take
It's
me
not
now,
gonna
because if the Steelers were to do what I'm about to say,
Let's don't say it. No.
I want you to strike me dead here and now. Okay, so we would give up this year's first round draft pick,
That's
next
what,
year's
2024? No.
next year's 2023's third round, Derek Watt and TJ Watt.
Nope.
And all you get in return is Deshaun Watson and a 2023 third round draft pick.
Nope.
Why am I going to trade my best defensive player, one of them, and Derek Watt? You could have Derek,
And you
but you're not going to get
and
TJ.
and your 24th pick.
Yeah.
And then
See, this is what I'm
Wow.
saying when it comes to Watson wants out, but it's what Houston's asking for is horrendous.
It is horrendous.
It's literally, it's worse than a king's ransom. And if you're a team that is in a dire need of a quarterback that can
the
afford to do it,
the
like,
Jets.
see, the Jets already have a young quarterback, so it makes no sense to make that deal.
Yeah, but Robert Saleh came out and said, like he's keeping it under the table. Like came out
But-
earlier and said that Sam Darnold
But
is a
do you trade away your future draft picks that could help improve this team for Deshaun Watson, where we always say any given Sunday, what if Watson takes a hit that ends his career? You just screwed yourself out of how many draft picks, and you shipped Sam Darnold in the trade.
Well, we both know that nobody's giving up for 3 first-round draft picks the next couple of years for this guy number one. Period.
And that's why Deshaun Watson is going to have to stick it out in Houston.
Or sit up.
Or he
Full-
just
full-
asks for a release
And
and doesn't get any of the money.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't know if that's on the table, but if it is, you may have to start considering that. Because
I would if I was
no
him.
team, other than, let's say, maybe the Panthers,
Uh-huh.
which I saw it before we went on, but I didn't get a chance to jot it down. But it's pretty much the same as the Steeler one, except Carolina gets Watson, a tight end, and like a third-round draft pick in 2023.
That's not bad at all.
Okay? But you got to ship Teddy Bridgewater, which it's no big
That's
deal.
fine.
You ship Teddy
But then
Bridgewater.
now Watson
But
got
then
McCaffrey,
Watson goes to a
Anderson,
team
TJ
with
Moore.
weapons and a rebuilding young defense.
Mm-hmm.
If
That
I'm
makes sense.
if I'm Carolina and Matt Rule,
Pull trigger.
I gotta call Houston and say, listen, if this is the proposal, let's do it now, and let's just end this nonsense. It's gonna get dragged out day after day, minute after minute, second after second, week after week, and month after month. Let's just get it done with. And I forget who it was on ESPN that pretty much said just shut up and play. But pretty much about the Deshaun Watson situation. So Randy Moss came out and he said, yeah, we're done with that era of shut up and play. Bottom line is this, the kid feels a certain way, he's entitled to feel a certain way, and we're not going to get into the undertones of it
Mhm.
because it's already been addressed.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to get into it because if one of us says something the wrong way, it's going to get taken the wrong way, or we say something in one context, someone's going to view it in a different context, and before you know it, we're going back and forth with all different people. And listen, not a racist. I like everybody equally. Some some people I hate a little more than others, but that's not because of race or whatnot.
Hey man, I believe the same way. That's it.
But
The same person, brother.
But as far as the Watson deal, it's just no matter how you look, no matter the team involved,
They're not giving up.
to expect the Steelers to give up all that, I'm sorry, no.
That's like
No, you would have to take TJ off the board. We'll give you Derek, but in return, we're not giving you the first round in this year's draft. I'll give it to you in the next year's draft in the third round, but in return, that we get Watson and we get JJ. And you could have Derek, and you could have next year's first round, next year's third round, and we'll take your third round, the third round in 2023, which pretty much is going to, you're going to lose the first round in the following draft, but you're getting Watson out of it. But again, Ben's coming back, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
so all Steeler fans that are sitting there going, oh, Watson wants to be traded, we're getting him. Oh, Stafford wants to be traded, we're getting him. Oh, Aaron Rodgers might want out, even though he says he doesn't. Oh, we're going to get Aaron Rodgers. Listen, we've had Ben for, it's going to be going on, 18, 19 years now?
2004?
Let him, he's going to ride it out. He's going to ride it out till his wheels fall off. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want part of the Watson fiasco. I don't want Matthew Stafford. I don't want, no.
Yo, to be honest with you, I'm being dead ass though. Carolina would be perfect. Because they have a
teams like Carolina,
they have a low draft
Atlanta.
Pick. They have a low draft pick, and that's where Houston would draft their quarterback.
See, if you trade him to Atlanta, that's a good fit for him. You trade him to Carolina, is the perfect fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
If you trade him to the Jets, it's not. And this is why. Because if you're going to put him out on the field with the same team that Darnold has had to deal with for 3 years,
the same record.
It's going to be the same result.
He'll throw 5,000 yards, and
it'll be the same result. And Jets fans are going to sit there and say,
what?
Pretty much that silence is what it's going to be. Because what can you say? It's just your team just doing things backwards again. That's what it is on that
point. Guy is he's going to be an impact.
If I'm the Jets, and again, and I know it's repetitive, but you keep the second pick.
You draft him.
You draft Sewell. We went over it last night, so we're not going to go. We're not going to go into depth. And then speaking of that, when we were talking about the Mets pitching rotation, what happened hours after we were done? After I posted the audio part and we posted the video part. What happens? Matz gets traded to Toronto for 3 no-name pitchers.
Yeah, 3.
Okay. That's really not even to save money because they avoided arbitration with him, I think, for like $4 or $5 million. So I get that, and with the Bauer situation, I read different that it was more than just 1 year, $30 million. But in this supposed deal the Mets offered him, there's a lot of opt-ins and opt-outs. If it's a 5-6 year deal, you only need 1. And that's in the 3rd year of it.
Yep.
You don't need to have, after 55 games, if you want, you could opt out, but after 125, you have to opt in?
No, after the 3rd year.
Come on, after the 3rd year, it's it. Because when you start adding in a team opt-in, a player opt-in, it just becomes a clusterfuck of nonsense. Okay, and you don't need it. Bottom line is this. If you're going to offer him the deal, 5-6 years in the realm of which he wants, which I think he's overpricing himself.
What, 30
to 45 million. Okay,
30,
the way JT Realmuto overpriced himself, and then what happened? 5 years, 115 million is what the Phillies re-signed him for, because that's all. And they stood their ground. And JT Realmuto knew nobody else was going to. Nobody else was going to give him 225. And if I'm on the teams, I'm not even giving him the 5th year. The Phillies taking a chance of giving him a 5th year. Because he's like 30, 31 now. So going into that last year, he's going to be 36.
What did Robinson Cano? He's shot.
He was shot ever since he left the Yankees. He was just done for.
I know.
But, again, in free agency, these players are always going to ask for a ridiculous amount of money and think that they could pitch for all these years that are going to be part of the contract. But this is where, if the Mets are smart, if they're gonna make this deal with Bauer and he's gonna sign it, listen to what I'm telling you now, because it's so stupid how you sign these guys to these mega contracts in any sport, and you pay them so little in the beginning, but as the age of the contract goes up,
and
the pay goes up.
and
So
they
here's
decline too.
So here's an idea: when the contract begins, pay him the most then,
Yeah,
and let the
that.
contract, like his play, let that decline
Exactly.
with the play. Because by the end of the contract, what are you paying him? Nothing.
Peanuts.
It's not a hard thing to figure out. That it took me all of 30 seconds to figure it out.
Like 15 seconds.
Okay, it's not hard to figure out. It's really that simple, because look at contracts over the course of any sport, and Alex Rodriguez is the prime example. Alex Rodriguez, every contract he's had has had an opt-in, opt-out, and he's always opted out to get more money. And the Yankees always caved and paid him more money. But if you're going to do that, then make the bulk of the money at the beginning of that new contract, not at the end, where the Yankees put themselves in a predicament where they had to pay all this money to get rid of him.
I know, exactly. I remember that.
No. Instead of deferring the money for down the line, make it at the beginning. So if you mean to tell me, and you know, so like in A-Rod's situation, he was getting like 20, 30 million in the final years of his contract, probably even more. You're going to pay a guy at that age who was declining, and again, you could attribute steroids and PEDs and all that into his decline, right? Regardless of that, you're going to pay a guy that much in the declining years because you think he's valued at 30, 40 million when he's 36, 37, 38, 39 years old? No, he's not. He's worth the contract that I keep saying the Yankees should offer Gardner. That's $5 million. At the end of your career, you should be making the least.
That's what Steve Madison making, 5.2, I believe.
And if you're a GM out there or a sports fan that thinks different, I really just don't know what to tell you, because you have to see, running a team is a business from every standpoint, right? Okay.
You got to analyze every single situation.
So when you go into these negotiations with these players, and we'll use Trevor Bauer as the example.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that the Mets don't have a GM because he wanted to share a schlong everywhere,
Yep.
or whatever, so now they took this other guy, I forget his name, he's the acting GM, but you really think he's going to have an influence or an input on anything? No. It's going to come down to Cohen and Sandy Alderson are going to make the final say.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're sitting with Bauer's agent and Trevor Bauer, if I'm Trevor Bauer, I have to go into this thinking, you got to be stupid to pay me more at the declining years when my arm isn't going to have the same strength it had when I started this contract with you guys. So if I'm Trevor Bauer, I'm asking for the bulk of the money in the beginning years. In the first 3 years is when you should be paying him the most, and the last 3 is when you should be paying him the least, because that way, and this is from the other standpoint of it, because if you're paying a guy, and let's say the Mets do sign Bauer, and that third year, and let's say it's a team opt-in, and they say, okay, we'll opt in because now we're only paying him X amount, and he starts to suck it up, you can either A, release him, or you can trade him. And it's a contract you can move. That's why that's why you can't move a lot of these contracts. In case of
Stan's contract.
The Mike Trout one, you're never going to move. You're never going to move unless he comes to the Yankees. Is about the only way that ever happens. Okay? And the Yankees would be dumb to not even consider that if, let's say, year 3 into that contract and Trout wants out, they don't call the Yankees and say, listen, we'll trade you Mike Trout, but you got to pay his contract. Okay. And the Angels would be like, well, what are we getting in return? Nothing. Because now we have to take on your salary cap problem. No, it's not going to happen. So you got to pay these guys in the declining years, declining money. Because how are you going to move a contract to a guy, and Giancarlo Stanton, another prime example. How do you move this deal now when he has no value?
I really have no idea, unless the Yankees eat half of it and what's going to
happen is that
the same way we got him, you know.
That and what's going to wind up happening is no matter where they trade him to, they're going to eat 3/4 of it.
That's hefty.
Because if they trade him to a smaller market team, they're not going to be able to afford to pay him the other half. So the Yankees are going to get a little bit more in return because they're going to be paying a guy like when David Justice went to the Athletics, right? When he got traded there with the Yankees.
I remember that.
Okay. George Steinbrenner was paying him $4.5 million to play against the Yankees.
I did not know that.
Well, if you watch Moneyball, that is how I figured it out.
I did not know that.
Okay? Because George Steinbrenner was so pissed at David Justice's decline that he gave him this decent contract with some good money in it, that he in essence traded him to Oakland and was offering to pay half the contract. Because David Justice was unhappy in Oakland or whatever, and him and Billy Beane sat down, and Billy Beane said, because David Justice is like, well, you're paying me to be the guy that I am. And Billy Beane came out and he said, no, the Yankees are paying you $4.5 million to play against them. Okay? So that's how you got to look at it in the Stanton deal.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you move him, the Yankees are paying him to play against the Yankees down the line.
Yeah, it depends on where you get straight to the after
Well, with the way that they do scheduling now, chances are, even if you trade him to the NL, you're going to face him at least
a couple times, yeah.
maybe 8 times, because you figure with the interleague play, you got to do at least 3 to 4 home and 3 and 4 away.
What else you pull out? You know what I'm saying, for the Red Sox.
Yeah, well, if they trade, if they traded Giancarlo Stanton to the Red Sox and he became like, the next Carl Yastrzemski out there,
I'm gonna tell Chapman to pick him.
I'm sorry, this next comment may get me arrested if somebody's watching it and they're a cop, but I'd shoot Cashman dead in his head. Like, right in the middle of the Bronx, right on Pleasant Avenue, just done. Goodbye. See ya.
Oh, you wanting some shit about Sean McVay and Jared Goff?
Oh, spill the tea. Spill it.
Sean McVay announced publicly does not want Jared Goff as his quarterback. And in quote, he says, he is, as of right now, he's a Ram. Not a quarterback, a Ram. Not even telling Goff. Coming out in the media and saying this.
Well, that's how a lot of people find out a lot of things, because there was, I forget what trade it was, and somebody found out on Twitter.
And I still don't even know what it's about. Like, I don't even know what the whole, like...
I think it's just, well, look at how their relationship started. Like, they were a fast, up-tempo team. Like, literally, like, they would get to the line and get a playoff with, like, 20 seconds left on the play clock.
They were averaging, like, 35 points a game there.
Okay. But, as we all know...
No, the contract came in.
The contract, he got his extension. The play declined a bit. You could say injuries and whatever, and you can't say that they have no weapons on the Rams, because they got a shit ton of them.
They do.
Okay, from Kupp to Woods to Higbee at tight end.
Oh, yep.
To no name running backs to Van Jefferson and whoever else he's got there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What you're seeing unfolding in front of your eyes with the Rams is what you didn't see unfolding behind the scenes with Brady and Belichick. You heard little things, but you didn't see Belichick going out there saying, well, as of right now, Brady's a Patriot. No. You're seeing this relationship deteriorate
right before your eyes.
Literally every day in front of your eyes, whether it's on Good Morning Football America, or if it's on ESPN, or if it's on SNY, or wherever it is, you're seeing it firsthand. On social media, you're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And do I think that Goff is the quarterback starting the season with the Rams? Yeah, because
I do too.
Because
John Wolford
because who's going to be the starter there? Wolford? Duck Hodges? No.
Good luck, guys.
No. And if the if the Rams come out and say that Goff is tradable, a lot of teams are going to go after him. And
he's young.
And this is where I see.
The twinkle in your eye.
I would consider Jared Goff on the Steelers.
Why wouldn't you?
I would.
Nice and young.
Kind of looks like Ryan Gosling a little bit.
Yeah, he could put on a little bit of weight, but,
he might have been the stunt double in the Notebook.
Yeah, but no, you got a cannon, though. As soon as that thumb heals up.
But I think it's also, too, that Sean McVay, I think, has his vision of his own quarterback, and it's just not Jared Goff.
Well, that one season was Jared Goff. That one season.
Yeah, but then after that, it was
Sean McVay is an offensive-minded genius, like
unlike Adam Gase.
unlike Adam Gase, Kyle Shanahan's pretty good at it too.
But
Whatever.
and then going back to Houston, somebody took that job.
What?
Somebody took the Houston Texan head coaching job. That Dave
Oh
Cooley
my
guy
goodness,
from
65-year-old who's been a coordinator since the 90s, never had a head coach in his entire
I
life.
figured, Houston figured, hey, we hired a black guy, so Deshaun Watson's going to stay. No, Deshaun Watson still wants out.
He said it. He don't care what
it's
coach,
too
what
late.
GM, what anybody. And you know what's funny though? They got him from the Ravens. The Ravens get 2 third-round comp picks for that, for hiring him and then releasing him to the 2 third-round. Oh,
But people have issues with that one, and I really don't care. Bottom line is this: that the NFL wants more diversity when it comes to coaching and all other positions within the league, and why not?
Yeah, why not? But now they got 3 third-rounders.
But then when you even speak about, but then when you speak about that, some people come out and they say, well, now these teams are forced to hire a minority. You're not forced. I will explain this as simple as possible because there are people out there that are smart. Then there are people out there that are just simple
for the job.
Whether you are black, white, Asian,
Green, orange.
Puerto Rican, Jewish, Indian, ISIS, I don't care. If you're qualified to do a job, then you should be hired to do said job.
Exactly.
End of story. Bottom line. If you're one of those that wants to beat it to death because you're a whatever, go ahead. But don't bring it to me. I don't want to hear it. All right? I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, look at San Francisco, the female coordinator. She's doing a hell of a job over there.
Well, you know what else you have in this Super Bowl, right? First ever female official, the Sarah Thomas chick.
You're right.
And I can already see it now. She's going to be throwing a flag for something that happened 10 years ago that she remembered. You have to make a joke of that.
I know.
You have to.
I know.
No, but it's a huge milestone, for the NFL. And don't be surprised. Like in the NBA, the Spurs have a female assistant. Well, I don't know if she's the assistant head coach, but she's on the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
I think she might be the head coach now. I think Popovich retired down there.
Hey.
Because I know Tim Duncan was the assistant for a while.
God, he was the coach for the Spurs for as long as I can remember, dude.
Well, hey.
That's been back when David Robinson and
He had a good run.
Parker and
He had a good run in San Antonio. Can't knock him.
Yep.
That's for sure. Definitely Hall of Fame coach.
Oh yeah, hands down.
I'm just putting it out. I'm just putting that out there. Greg Popovich for the hole. If he
Jeff
ain't in
Van
already.
Gundy.
See, Jeff Van Gundy.
I'm joking.
No, see, Jeff Van Gundy. See, remember when the Knicks were trying to beg him to come back?
Yep. I remember.
Okay. Remember the one thing he said? He said he would, but Dolan would have to sell the team. Because he hates James Dolan.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, who doesn't? If you're a Knicks fan, how do you not hate James Dolan? I mean, the guy got Oakley thrown out of the Garden because he agreed with people saying Dolan should sell the team.
I know. And it's Charles Oakley.
Yeah, like, dude, Charles Oakley will fuck you up.
You see the size difference when he was this?
I think actually Oakley, tried going after him during that. Because he was cursing him out.
Yeah, one of the security guards put his hands on him or something. And
Yeah,
he's like,
and I think it went to court, and I think Oakley wound up winning it. That they took the ban off now.
Yeah,
that
they
he's
banned
allowed
the
back in
Garden.
the Garden.
Like,
You know what
ban him
if
from
I'm
the
Charles
Garden.
Oakley, why do I want to be back in the Garden after that? I'd rather be in Brooklyn watching Net games. They're a winning team anyway. And now that you see what they're doing now
Now you have Tyrese here?
I'm telling you right now,
I see.
they're going to gel, and Brooklyn's going to be a problem for the next 3 years, because that's as long. And I say 3 because in the 3rd year, that's when Harden's contract ends. And let's see if Brooklyn, after that, if they can win a championship within the 3 years,
I think they could.
I think they keep all 3. But if they don't win a championship in those 3 years, then they're going to break it apart like they did when it was Pierce and Garnett there. And I always forget who the 3rd guy was.
Antonio Walker.
No, it's not Antonio Walker.
Where, in Boston?
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. You said Boston.
Antonio Walker was the biggest bust in the NBA.
Antoine Walker.
Who cares? He was a bust. Nobody cares.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
He was a bust up there with Isaiah Ryder.
J.R. Ryder was not a bust.
Yeah, he was. He had that one great dunk competition, and that was about it.
You ever watch any of his games?
Sucked. I don't need to watch his game. Sean Bradley was better than him.
Motherfucker bend down and stand straight up. And
I
his hand
actually,
up
you know what's
in the air.
funny is I remember because back when I was in high school and I played PAL basketball. I think it was a PAL basketball field trip. We went to the Meadowlands to watch a net game, and it was funny
So
that
did I.
and it was funny that it was the Timberwolves, which Ryder was on, and Sean Bradley was on the Nets at the time. Sean Bradley,
Bradley's so tall, dude.
oh my, giraffe neck deluxe. Oh God.
Yeah, I
insane.
actually watched a net game. They were playing Boston. That's when Paul Pierce was on Boston, John Rondo.
Yeah, when Boston was good.
Yeah, and of course Nets lost.
Well, no, they're decent now. They got a decent squad there with Jason Tatum and a
he's
couple
good.
other guys.
He's good, yeah.
But and what's funny is now that I read, since we're talking about basketball, that the Pelicans are looking to trade Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, they're looking to trade Lonzo Ball and somebody else. I forget who it is, and that the Knicks are going to factor in this deal to get one of them, if not both. I forget who the second player. I think it's maybe JJ Redick. But I mean, if you get Lonzo Ball on the Knicks, Lonzo Ball is good at passing the ball. He's not really that great at shooting it, but if you want to add a passing presence, another guard who can pass the ball, that doesn't cost you a lot of money, then if you don't have to give up much,
Go
why
for
not
it.
trade? But again, you have to put in there, you don't want LeVar anywhere near it. Because LeVar is because he's already chirping at the Hornets because LaMelo Ball comes off the bench. Well, guess what? You're like 18, 19 years old. Don't get me wrong, LaMelo Ball is good at basketball, but he's not that kid that I'm going to start him right away. He's still got to learn the game. And I watch games where he's played ugly, and he makes those rookie mistakes. I've seen it. So I don't blame Michael Jordan and the Charlotte organization for saying, "Yo, kid, sit down and learn from other people." And then you come
Michael
off the
Jordan
bench.
told me to sit down and learn. You best believe I'm listening to him. But all right, guess so.
Yeah. And speaking of Michael Jordan, and I have to say this, my man Chase Claypool is now a jump man. He's part of the Jumpman brand.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool is going to be raking in the millions and millions and millions and millions. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to buy Chase Claypool Jumpman Nike shoe. And I don't spend more than $80 on a sneaker. But I will for the Claypools.
Sneaker. So which foot?
Well, I'll spend 80 on the right and 80 on the left.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, it's just just looking at these Watson trade proposals.
It's disgusting.
It's
because it's the first round pick. No.
I would make this deal if we were in dire need of a quarterback, but we're not. And then even Art Rooney came out today, and this is gonna annoy certain Steeler fans, and thank God she's in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Because she would probably throw a lid and she would start a F this and a F that.
Yeah, she's good here.
Okay. Rooney came out and said he believes that Mason Rudolph will be the future starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And what makes him think that?
If you think 5-3 is a sample size and the one game against Cleveland, it's not. Again, he needs to have a full year. Again, I will say it again like we did the other day. From week 1 to week 17.
Yep.
And again, and I threw out the numbers he has to have to prove that he could take. Even if he could put up those numbers, he's not Ben's successor till he wins
two
Super Bowls at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't see it happening with Rudolph.
I don't think he has a grit in the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like Ben does.
Well, he can't take a shot to the head, that's for sure.
Oh, no. Well, neither can I, really.
Well, whether it's from Myles Garrett's helmet or it's that nasty hit he took from Earl Thomas, which again, I'm sorry, that was as dirty as dirty gets.
That's bad.
Like literally, when you crack the guy helmet to helmet, and the grill comes off the.
And you lift him up, and he's just like has no idea where he is.
Oh, he was.
He had no idea what his name was.
Oh, he was spaced out to no end. He literally, I think he woke up like a week later, still thinking that they were playing that game. Because I don't see Mason being. But again, no matter who takes that spot,
I don't.
You have to replicate everything Ben has done, and it's the same thing with the Giants. If Daniel Jones is going to fill Eli's shoes, he has to replicate, and if not, do better than what Eli has done. And in Green Bay, when that day comes, when Aaron Rodgers hangs it up, whoever takes over that, they have to replicate everything Aaron Rodgers has done. And case in point, New Orleans now. If Breeze announces that he has retired, which he hasn't yet, but all signs point to he's going to, whoever takes that spot, you have to do better than what Breeze has done. I'm not saying you have to pass for 80,000 yards, but you have to. But to take the heir apparent role the way Ben took it from Bradshaw is the same way the next quarterback has to do it.
I definitely do see like Daniel Jones, like he has an arm. He's in a similar but different situation from Darnold because he at least has weapons around him. The issue is how do you expect a kid to learn when 1 year the offensive coordinator is this guy and he has a different offense from clap happy friggin' Jason Garrett? And Jason Garrett obviously is going to be back with the Giants this year.
Well, somebody should teach him how to write a better playbook.
It's horrible, dude.
Okay, because
disgusting. I see Steve Spagnuolo over there in the Chiefs, man. This defense. Same exact stuff that we beat Brady with.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I'm just saying.
I hear you, dude.
But the thing that really, what really gets me though, is I don't get how Houston really thinks that they were going to trade with Pittsburgh. We're going to give up both Watt brothers. What people? Why? Because you want all the Watt brothers in Houston?
What's that going to do?
They barely won anything with one. What do you think the other two are going to do for you? You'll just be in the same friggin' predicament. So it doesn't even matter. JJ's better off coming to Pittsburgh and actually winning a Super Bowl there before it's all said and done.
I don't see Pittsburgh even thinking about getting
No, because, and I think that's why the Rooneys came out and said what they said, because if you don't think they read the same things we all read and hear the same things we hear, that's why they came out and said, they pretty much told Houston without saying it, they're saying it, don't contact us, we don't want him.
Basically.
Because no matter where Watson gets traded to, there's going to be that circus media all around it.
I don't know.
They're going to be, oh, so how does it feel playing for this team? Oh, you know, it feels great because nobody wants to. No. Nobody wants to hear that shit. All right, nobody wants to hear.
Oh, Jason Witten announced his 17-year retirement.
Yeah, and he also brought back that male pattern baldness that he has. Because notice when he went into broadcasting, he mysteriously had a full head of hair. Goes back to playing football, and the hair's gone again. So maybe Bosley doesn't really work that well. Maybe he should try using Hims or Keep or whatever.
Or maybe he's just playing on the Raiders also.
But
who knows?
But if I'm Jason Witten, and it's all well and good, he's going to sign the one-day contract to retire as a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Which is always the right thing to do. You always do that to retire with the team that made you and you helped them, even though they didn't win anything with Jason Witten.
Yeah, they didn't win
but
shit.
Still, he was the big name in Dallas for so many years.
Yep, like Des Bryant.
So I always give a guy credit for that, even if it's a Raven or a Brown or a Bengal.
No, he was a good tight end, dude.
He was. I'll give him that. But I think the only reason why the Raiders signed him was for that veteran presence in the locker room. Mm-hmm. See, Jason Witten to me wouldn't be good in broadcasting. You know what he would really be good at? Is staying in the NFL as a tight ends coach.
You're right, actually.
And if I'm the Giants, who
Fred
am I
Kitchens.
who am I calling?
Fred Kitchens.
The guy that destroyed your defense for so many years at times in big games. So that's the guy I would call. I mean, shit.
Freddie Kitchens are a damn tight end.
Freddie Kitchens.
That's why.
It was absolutely great when he was wearing that shirt that when the whole thing with Pouncey happened, when he friggin' clocked friggin' Garrett after the whole thing and all like the Pittsburgh started it shirts came out that Cleveland made. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually I should have wore that tonight because Pittsburgh didn't start it, but Pittsburgh sure as hell finished it.
Yo, you know Pouncey got his hand through that.
Oh yeah, he clocked Garrett.
I seen it.
That's why Myles Garrett went and found Rudolph after the last game.
The size difference, dude.
Well, look at Mason Rudolph. He looks like he looks like a brunette version of Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. He really does. That's preppy.
No, for real though. Like, but Pouncey and Garrett, he's just like. And that wasn't even bad either.
Let me tell you, and don't forget, Pouncey also came from Florida with Hernandez and all
Aaron Hernandez.
So, Marquise Pouncey and his brother Mike Pouncey, they're about that life. I'm just saying. They're about that life. They'll fuck somebody
Yo,
up.
3/4 of the people in the NFL are about that life.
Yeah, well, you know.
Just like the guy with Dave Gettleman traded up for. What was his name again? DeAndre Baker. Oh yeah, gone. Good job.
Well, no, he got acquitted at that. They proved
I
that he
don't
didn't do
care. He did it.
it. But, we're gonna cut it short tonight though because I'm starving and the food arrived. But before we go, Saturday is gonna be a very, very interesting episode. I will tell you that because not only are we gonna record like we normally do, we're also gonna go on Facebook Live, and we're gonna have the debate of debates.
The debate that should have been had to begin with.
No, see, I decided that we're gonna have the debate of debates, but it will include the three.
Yes.
It will be
Black Jesus.
no. It'll be who is the true GOAT as it stands now? Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron? And the reason why we're going to do it on Facebook Live as well is because I want people to interact, ask questions, debate live with us, which will make it interesting. Plus, you know, everybody hears our opinions and nobody really ever gives theirs. So that's why I want to do it. And we're going to come with all we already got it printed up. All the stats, all the facts. It's going to prove to you why LeBron is not the GOAT yet. I mean, and you know what? We could shoot the shit for another 5-10 minutes. You know, I freaking didn't even eat lunch today, but whatever. I can hold out.
Okay.
All right. When it's all said and done, when LeBron's career ends, and if it ends with him playing 1 year with his son, which I think is his end goal, and as a father, I could appreciate that. You know, he wants to play 1 year with his son. And that's all well and good. And I give him credit for that. And people could say, well, look at his stats compared to Jordan. Well, that's going to be a lot of things that'll be discussed in the debate. Because, again, it's two different eras and two different styles of the era. From Jordan's era. And Kobe played in the tail end of one and went into the other. And LeBron really played in the softer era of it. But we can discuss all that Saturday because it will all come out. So I invite everybody who has Facebook that's friends with me. It's a public Facebook page, so I think anybody can really just chime in if they want to. And
to be honest, you know, like if LeBron could erase those 4 finals losses, then maybe we could have a better debate. But it's not happening.
Well, we'll discuss all that. What would help him leap over Kobe and even Jordan? Because there are some things that can do it.
Well, you gotta win 4 straight.
Well, yeah, that's one. that is actually that really is, in my opinion, is the only one. But other people might have other opinions of it. So
build super teams, all that crap.
But you know,
whatever.
Again, that'll be a debate that we're gonna have. It's more than likely gonna happen this Saturday. So again, everybody, friggin', if you want to chime in, chime in.
Chime in.
So until the next podcast, which should be Saturday, barring anything happening, stay safe, mask up, even the haters, and you already know what it is.
Haters hate.
Peace. Bada bing, bitches.